Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. You know, this is our 20th anniversary year of Inside Golf, and today another big show with the big timer joining us, Charlie Rymer from Morning Drive on Golf Channel. Taylor Torpea takes us on a short drive to Ambler, Pennsylvania. We're going to introduce you to one of the staff members of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. And also coming up, another tip from one of the docs at the Rothman Institute. It's all next right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, now celebrating its 20th season, is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Recently, well, it was back during the merchandise show in Orlando, Florida. We caught up with the man they call the big timer on Golf Channel. Yes, from Morning Drive, Charlie Rymer. What a guy, what a personality. And now, well, he's one of my best friends. Charlie Rymer here at Demo Day. You get around, Charlie, huh?
Well, that's what they say.
But it is golf, so.
Yeah, I get around with golf. Yeah, I've been on Morning Drive now. This is my 4th or 5th season. And, you know, after a while, it's so much fun, but there's a lot of days that pile on top of each other. And we're like a close-knit family. We all get along. Occasionally we argue, but we hug it out afterwards. It's a really fun group to work with, the folks in front of the camera and the folks behind the camera. But this is my 19th year in broadcasting. That's sort of hard to believe. I got a lot of folks, friends at home that don't believe I've made it that long. So
that's a lot of ratings books.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, getting up early. For 40 years, I worked morning radio in Philly.
Really, you don't look a day over 30.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I like this guy. I knew I liked this guy. But how about the get up? What time do you? Everybody used to say, well, what time do you get up?
Yeah, well, I like the bosses at Golf Channel to think that I get up about 1 a.m., 1:15.
Do all that prep work?
Yeah, I do all that prep work. But actually, it's generally about 3:30. Sometimes I'll get up at 4, but most of the time 3:30.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about any experience of golf in Philadelphia over your long career.
You know, I had a chance to play with one of the members who's a longtime friend. Brought me in for the pro member one year, and at Pine Valley. Yeah, and I've obviously Pine Valley was on my bucket list. I just had never had the opportunity to play. Sadly, he hasn't invited me back, but I got there one day. And
well, if he's watching.
It was an amazing experience. The golf course, I mean, it was what you would expect. You know, the best in the world, certainly the best 2 or 3 in the world. But what really blew me away about Pine Valley was the hospitality there. That Charlie Roddenbush, who runs the golf there, just made me feel like I was at home. And I was actually traveling with my young son, and not only make me feel at home, but he sent my young son out on the grounds, fishing, playing over on the par 3 with his son. And it was a special day for both of us. But really, really nice folks there, and the golf's pretty good too.
Pretty good. Final question. 2 or 3 of them, maybe I should say, not the most famous people you've met, but maybe some of the most interesting people you've met, either at your work at Golf Channel or just in your career as a tour professional.
Well, I get a chance to meet a lot of interesting people. Today on Morning Drive, Bubba Watson is as interesting as they get. Someone who figured out how to do it his own way. In fact, if you tried to talk to Bubba and said, "Hey, Bubba, you hadn't been putting so great," if you try, he would go, "La la 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 la."
That's it.
He does not want to hear it, and I love that. I respect that. And Bubba does things his way. They're different. And the thing about Bubba is, you spend any time with him at all, he can be awkward sometimes socially, because I think that he's not a guy that's used to being, or maybe born to be in the spotlight when you're asking him questions. On the golf course, there's no problem. But he's just a little bit shy, and he gets thrown into the spotlight sometimes, and he might be a little awkward. But I'm telling you, you spend 5 minutes with Bubba Watson, you know that he's got a great heart. He's a good person.
That's great. Anybody else?
Sean Foley, the instructor, is one of the most fascinating people I've ever met in my life.
What makes him fascinating?
Well, Sean is from Canada. Both his parents are PhDs, professors, so he comes from a long line of deep thinkers. He went to school in the South, and he's just had this incredible mix of things that he's been exposed to, and he's well-read. He spends a lot of time with folks like Thomas Friedman. He'll go to these conferences like Davos and hang out with like thought leaders of the world, and he really absorbs all of that. And so, along with being a fabulous teacher, one of the best we have in the business, he's also a very interesting person that can carry a conversation with anybody in the world. And,
well-rounded, I think, is the role.
Well-rounded. Some strong opinions. I like having friends with strong opinions, but Sean is very different in person than you might think from just watching him from afar. Really, really sharp guy, and a very passionate guy as well about a lot of charitable endeavors.
Well, from looking around here when you got done the show this morning, people coming up to you, you're the same guy, whether that red light's on the camera or just talking out here to some demo day people. Give me a He just made my whole experience here at Demo Day. Charlie, good seeing you, and we'll see a lot more of you on Morning Drive on the Golf Channel. Thanks, buddy.
My pleasure.
Montgomery County is home to some of the best small towns and main streets. I'm Taylor Tropea with Montco Golf, and for today's short drive, I'm taking you to Ambler. We're here at From the Boot in Ambler with Mayor Jean Sword. So tell us about the area.
Well, Ambler is a wonderful community that originally started as farmland and mills, and because it had that farmland and mills, it needed a way to get its product to market, so we got this great train line into Ambler. But what also was allowed to happen with that train line is it would bring people from the city out to the country. So we naturally created this wonderful downtown, so we still have that great skeleton, because we suddenly had all these new people that needed services. They needed places to purchase things. They needed to go grocery shopping. They needed to get their horses dealt with, right? And this is what we have now, which is a great destination for nightlife and for shopping, and definitely for dining. We're definitely a dining mecca here.
So what makes Ambler unique?
Ambler is very unique because after the mills and such things, we got into manufacturing. And with the manufacturing, actually a number of immigrants from the same city called Maida in Italy actually came and really populated the community. And you can see around the community all that they brought with them. We've got the old 1928 Warner Brothers Theater has been rehabbed into the Ambler Theater, and it's a destination in itself just to see this old theater rehabbed and made beautiful. So it's a very exciting place to live. It's a very vibrant place to live. We're a very young community, actually. We've got the older immigrants, but young families have come in and repopulated us, and it's a very young, vibrant place to be.
Well, this may be a very difficult question to answer, so I understand, but what do you love most about Ambler?
Oh my gosh, that is a tough question, especially to ask a mayor, but I love the people of Ambler. Ambler is a community we've got sidewalks everywhere, so you walk everywhere and you meet people on the street all the time. And so you've got this unique community of people that are in some ways like family, but are always seeing each other, saying hi to each other, and working together for the betterment of the community, which actually allows us to do all the great events that we do that people from all over the place come to, because we've got this great core of young volunteers that want to do things.
So tell us about some of those events.
Well, every year we've got the Ambler Auto Show, right? That's one of our older events, and that one's coming up in May. But after that is the Young Hip Ambler Arts and Music Festival that is only a few years old, but brings in 12,000 people a day, because we have some amazing artists that come in, and so that's always an exciting one in June. But we also have the Act 2 Playhouse, which is one of the few professional live theaters in the area that brings some of the best actors into Ambler, and that is a joy in itself to come to. But basically from May through November, it's one party after another. We've got all the First Fridays. So we've got a very active nonprofit Main Street organization that works very hard to keep the businesses here and to work to get more businesses here. And we've been pretty successful. We run most of the events that happen here because we really care about the community, but also keeping it lively, vibrant, exciting here.
That's it for today's short drive, but you could always find more ideas by visiting valleyforge.org.
You know, that's a great tip, folks. Whether it's a short drive or a long drive, it's always best when you visit Ambler, Pennsylvania. Coming up, we're going to introduce you to one of the staff members of GAP, the Golf Association of Philadelphia. That's next on Inside Golf.
Oh no!
What?
Mandy keeps sending me pictures of the girls' shopping trip to Montco.
Why did you tell him you couldn't go again?
Because I told him that we needed to catch up on housework.
Success requires hard work. No way around it. Realize timing is key. Be willing to push yourself. Stay in control. Trust technology to support you. My father once said, "Doesn't matter what you do in life, just be the best at it."
My name is Mackey, and I'm the Golf Association of Philadelphia's Director of Member Services. This is my 10th year with the association and my second year as Director of Member Services. And in this role, my responsibilities are overseeing our handicapping and course rating departments, as well as any technology initiatives we have here, including the website and any internal technology tasks we do here. So my role is also membership. So if we have a new member club looking to join, they contact me and I lead them through that process and tell them all about the Golf Association and what we can do for them. Or individual members, if an individual is looking to join the Golf Association of Philadelphia, they would contact our office and get to me, and I would tell them about the different levels of membership we have and what the benefits are, and just educate them about the association that way. I think the best part about working with the Golf Association of Philadelphia is the people, whether it's the people internally here on staff who are great. We've had very little turnover here, and there's a reason for that. It's because we all enjoy working together so much. And also just the people you encounter in golf. It's a great sport, and it's a great way to meet people, to make contacts, and it's the same thing you experience out on the golf course when you're out for a foursome on a Saturday morning. You experience it working at our events, working our seminars. They're great people in golf, and it's a pleasure to work with them.
The Philadelphia PGA is working with Rothman Institute to bring you tips to stay fit and healthy and golf ready this offseason. We're here at Philadelphia Country Club with head golf professional Scott Riley and Rothman Institute sports medicine surgeon Dr. Paul Marchetto to take you through some tips and exercises for this offseason.
Thanks, Leila. Here with Doc, we're going to talk a little bit about some tightness in the hips and maybe soreness in the knees. And so here in Philadelphia, we have a lot of hills, the uneven terrain as you're walking a lot. And maybe that can lead into some of that, but also in the golf swing, and we see golfers losing their posture and struggling with weight transfer and things like that. So maybe, Doc, you can talk a little bit about what's happening there.
I'm going to introduce a couple of exercises that I think are worthwhile for that IT band, the iliotibial band that goes from your hip through the knee down into the tibia. If that band gets tight, you get a lot of lateral knee pain, especially when you're coming through the golf swing. You want to be loosened up in the hip and down on the IT band. So we have some exercise that's leaning up against the wall, one leg across the other, really leaning hard. You're going to feel the pulling on the outside of your right leg, and you hold that for a count of 3. Relax. You can repeat that and do a set of 5, and then switch legs. To stretch the IT band, we've got a roller we can use to work on the lateral leg on the IT band. Any kinks or tight muscles really get rolled off holding like that. Do that again 5 times, and repeat that on the other side. And some core stretching with a figure 4 position. Keep your shoulders flat and stretch that right knee up across your body and hold it. Count at 10 seconds and relax. And repeat it 5 times, then flip over and do the other side. Trying to hold those shoulders down and stretch that left hip. You can do that at home on your yoga mat, just watching TV, stretch it out every night, get ready for the season.
Thanks, Doc. Obviously some great points, some great exercises. Hopefully have you loosened up and you'll be ready for the spring before you know it.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks to Dr. Marchetta from the Rothman Institute for another great tip getting golf ready for 2017. And next up, our teed off panel.
Shoot that same number, your handicap is going down. That's just the way the system works. Right.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues here at the Valley Forge Casino Resort. We're back here for our teed off panel. Today we're going to be talking about a trend that's developed among handicapped golfers. And the information comes from the United States Golf Association. We're here at the Valley Forge Casino Resort where you can entertain your everything. And here to entertain you today, we have an esteemed panel. Chris Wilkerson is back. He's the head pro at Lanark Country Club in Havertown. Good to see you again, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Mark Peterson, Executive Director of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, and Joe Logan from myphillygolf.com. USGA recently came out with some information regarding handicaps. Over the past 25 years, Chris, they say that there's a trend in a reduction on average of 12% men and women handicaps. What's going on? You guys, you pros giving out better lessons, or what's the reason for this?
I think it is an interesting statistic. I think there's a lot of different things you can look at. I mean, trends, if you look at trends that have happened since the early 90s, I mean, one is club fitting. Major differences between, you don't walk in the store anymore and pick out the shiny set off the rack. There's a lot more people in our industry that are specialized in places you can go and the clubs you belong to that have the better technology with TrackMan and FlightScope to fit you in the right equipment, and the equipment is better and it can help you mask some of your faults. So I think that would be one thing to look at. A second thing I think would be there's definitely been this trend of removing trees on golf courses. So that would be something that would be interesting to see if that's affected at all. I've always thought it hasn't, but now that I see that data,
how about that?
I wonder about that.
You got any take on it, Mark?
Well, I think technology obviously plays a large role in it, certainly in getting people fit, but let's also say that it's easier to post your scores than it was years ago. You remember the sheets that you'd have set up in the locker room, and if you traveled, you had to come back and write down your number and the slope and the rating, and now it's right at the click of a button in your mobile phone via the Gap app, if you like, self-plug. But I think technology has a lot to do with it. I don't know about tree removal. I think rough gets a little harder, but hey, this could be debatable. It's an interesting stat, and one that we're probably going to look in and see exactly what it is here in Philadelphia. We do know that our average handicap across the 57,000 members is 15.1. So we're going to study it backwards and see if we're seeing the similar trend. But
consult your local PGA Pro.
Absolutely. How about you, Mr. Logan?
You know, the equipment industry would like to make the case that handicaps are falling because of all the game improvement equipment. When I read the story you're talking about, the one question that came to mind for me is, golf has lost several million players in the last few years. The ones who tend to fall away, I would think, would be people who don't enjoy the game, don't play the game as well. So it could be a purging of to a certain extent, of people with higher handicaps. There's no way to know.
Or people with no handicap that haven't established a handicap. So I'm not certain that we're losing that segment of golfers.
Right.
It's an interesting thought, because the average handicap's gone down, but has the average score gone down? Because the majority of people don't keep handicaps.
That's right.
You know, that's something that'd probably be more difficult to find out. But
the other thing, and a little plug for Gap, we did a show last year on course ratings, and how has course ratings over the past 25 years influenced handicaps?
Well, think about the course rating system. A lot of it is dependent on yardage. And as you look at the golf courses that we've built, right, they're longer, they're bigger, they have more obstacles, so the difficulty or the rating is higher. And if you can still shoot that same number, your handicap is going down. That's just the way the system works.
Right. Right. Do you have anything to add on to that?
I would say also, you know, there's been a push for like, you know, tee it forward campaigns and play it shorter, even though you might be technically posting a score for the rating from the white tees. I think there has been a push at some clubs and around the country to sort of make courses shorter within what you can do, and you have to wonder if maybe that plays into it too.
You know,
there's a lot of small factors.
Sort of a related story to this issue is every year at North Hills I used to give an award out to the most improved golfer, and it was based on, you know, started the season, say, at a 16 and was down to an 11 or something like that. But you know, people used to say, "Wow, you know, did he play more or play whatever? You know, how much better?" That's quite a drop in a short season here in the Northeast, right? Do you guys have anything, an award given out to most improved handicap golfer?
We don't have an official award, but we do recognize it. We always post the report that you can print out from the Golf Association and from GIN every year, and sort of recognize that person based on the index of how far they've come down.
Yeah, it's amazing, some of the drops, you know. And the real good thing about this story by the USGA, that handicaps aren't going higher. People aren't fudging, you know. They're erring on the wrong side.
I would like
they're not getting as many shots, in other words.
I'd like to see the same kind of analysis of people who have sort of vanity handicaps. I mean, we've all played with somebody that they strut to the first tee and they got like a 4 handicap, and you watch them swing once and you go.
We all have stories about that. One of my greatest guys were down in Kiawah Island, and it was a guy with an 8, it really wasn't, and a guy who was a 16 who probably was, well, better. And they played 2 similar handicap guys in a match, and after the match, the guy with an 8 shot like a 92, and the 16 shot like an 81, and the low handicapper from the opposing team came up to the 16 and says, "You know, you're a pretty good 8, but that other guy, he's not a 16." You know? We all have stories like that, don't we, Chris? And at Lanark, oh my goodness, I always say, Gap has to have stories about Lanark guys.
Well, we hear more stories than
in a
we
jovial
tell.
note.
We certainly hear a lot of stories.
You want to defend your members, I know you are.
Well, you know, it's funny, I think Lanark's such a competitive membership. At least this is the stories they give me. You know, everyone's always in every hole. They have so many gimes going on at Lanark. You know, a gimme at Lanark is, there's no such thing.
It's
so,
not a gimme.
You know, the scores that they're posting certainly are, everything's going in the hole.
And the other thing about Lanark guys, from having played a lot of them other places, their handicaps travel, and travel well. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say,
No
Joe.
doubt
You know
about
what I mean? It's amazing how these handicaps sometimes don't. Those guys,
I'll state that Gap has no official comment on that.
No official. You're off the hook. Thank you very much. Handicaps, you're coming down, and we're coming back with more of Inside Golf in just a moment.
The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the perfect venue for your next conference or event. With a $6 million guest room renovation, 39 separate meeting rooms, and over 100,000 square feet of flexible banquet and exhibition space, it's the largest full-service hotel and only full amenity gaming resort in suburban Philadelphia. Located conveniently 30 minutes from downtown Philadelphia and near all major highways, Valley Forge Casino Resort is in the middle of everything. Entertain your everything and visit vfcasino.com for more information.
I'm Taylor Tropea with Montco Golf here at the prestigious Philadelphia Cricket Club. Join us here on May 15th for our annual Montco Golf Classic. Space is limited, so register today at montcogolfclassic.com. Don't miss out on the opportunity to play at one of the premier golf courses in the region.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Coming up, as we get ready for a great golf season in the Philadelphia area, we're going to have an up-close look at some great courses, both in the Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania surrounding suburbs and in South Jersey. Plus, we'll be back here at Kennett Square Golf and Country Club to talk to Tom Karpus about golf rules. This time, we'll be emphasizing the golf rules proposals for changes in 2019. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next time right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, now celebrating its 20th season, is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.